Alright, this is the driver's side mirror from J2. I was trying to move this out of the way and use the right angle screwdrivers to get these screws out, and then the mirror glass just started to kind of come free of the frame while manipulating things. So this was probably not long for this world. It's kind of a goopy sort of stuff, which is interesting. To look up the best way to adhere that in the future, but honestly it came off so easily. That seems to be the better way. I was reading a write-up someone did, but they didn't actually know how a camera works, so I'm not sure I should trust what they were doing. But it said that he hadn't had any luck re-gluing the mirrors, so that could end up being a problem, but shit, it was coming off anyways. So alright, now this whole, these screw holes just became kind of obvious at this point. You can try to feed a bit of this wire in here maybe, and we'll see how much I can move this. And then I just need to kind of think about how far I want to go with this. I was able to pull this apart and get that hook supported on the one on the car on Julia, but yeah, I kind of would like to just get this out so this could all be painted, and I'd kind of like to have this be able to not end up with the paint line along here too. So we'll see. Yeah, I can kind of push this wire in this way a bit, help it out. Maybe get some pliers down in there. So yeah, I'm gonna try to pull that up a bit more, and then think about the next steps. GoPro, stop recording. Alright, I got a little bit of slack there, not much. What I'm gonna try next is just taking these ones and loosening them. There. And there. Seeing if anything crazy happens. The answer seems to be no. It does seem to be metal, which makes sense because you get this crazy motherfucking spring on that bitch. Don't get that screw out of there. Gotta get this one out. So these are a little different. It's plastic screws, or screws to go into plastic, I suppose. Okay. Now, I think this is where that guy was talking about. You're hitting that with a hammer to get that off of there. That sounds fucking terrifying. Yeah, I'm just trying to capture as much of this for reassembly as I can. Still got to think about how to handle. It seemed like the best thing might be to kind of come in here and get those screws with that spring held, like I did on the car. I'll show you that. Come over here and use the piece of rod like in the factory service manual and these guides here to hold this hook and then pull the hook away and come off, and that gives me access to these 4 screws that are holding this outer cover to this base. The trick there is that seems to hold the rod where it's going to be constrained on here. However, I think maybe then I'd be able to hold some vice grips on here, pull the rod, and then slowly let it back in. As long as it doesn't go way too far in there, I'd probably be able to do it again in the future. So anyways, that gives you some sense of it. I'll try to put this one in the vise and basically do the same thing. GoPro, stop recording. I tried using a welding rod and the spring is so stiff, it bent it. I'm going to try using an Allen key instead. So I'm going to get in here, go through that hook up into that spot. And then that should be clear enough that I can use a hook, like this guy, to pull that wire back Oh, there we go. Got it. Fuck, it bent my Allen key. Dick. Okay, so now that that's like that, what I want to see is if I can let it in. Because if I were to undo these screws, let's see. All that shit's got to slide this way. Actually, maybe that's okay. Maybe I leave it like this and that Allen key becomes permanent. Let's see. Okay, all this does is help hold this wire still. Clearly not doing a great job of it. If you can still see everything. So start pulling these screws out. It looks like that. Has a washer, this one. Also has a washer and that little hook. And then we've got this one up top right here. No washer on it. Slightly different, longer sort of screw. Take it out. Okay, now, oh yeah, okay, cool. So now that housing becomes separate from this, which is pretty much what I want, but I need to be able to feed this wire the rest of the way through here to get the motor housing off. So, let's go back, sit over here. Thumb is stuck. I have this gasket here. And otherwise the wire just is going to slide on through there. It comes in from the back like that. And then you can unclip it from there. And then that can just slide on from back behind. You see that opening that it was in there? Let it go. Slide on through. The neighbor is outside walking in my fucking driveway singing weird ass songs. That's exciting. I can hear her. My phone's going off. Alright. And then get that out. So now that's the motor assembly that holds the glass. This is wonderful. This is the part I want to get painted. I also want to get this painted. And there's no reason it can't get painted with all of this on it. In fact, what I can actually do is re-clip that. I have to be able to pull this back now, get some tension off of my Allen key, pull the Allen key out of there, and then that can be like that. So that can get painted, and that can get painted. So the only unknown is whether or not the glass is going to be easy to glue or stick back on, but I'll look some stuff up about that, and I think it'll be fine. Oh, last thing. So these don't have the heating element, whereas the ones on Julia do. So, but these are in much nicer shape, the actual housings. Both, that one's really cracked, and the other one on Julia is kind of cracked. How easy it is to swap the pertinent parts, I'm not sure. I'll go take a look and see. GoPro, stop recording. I'm taking, this is still that driver's side mirror, I'm taking these 3 screws that mount it and this gasket off of here. I got a baggie here with the motor assembly and the 4 little bitty screws that are in here. I'm going to put those in this gasket. I put these 4 mounting screws back into the assembly to keep track of them. So yeah, I don't see any issues with that being painted like it is and that being painted like it is. The glass is here. You know what? I'm going to pop that in here too, because that seems like a good way to keep it safe. It'll just go right in where it's supposed to be. This is the passenger side mirror from J2. The glass was like already kind of bulging off of this one too, so just coming right off. There's barely any of that sticky stuff. Some little foam bits here. So who knows which one was factory. It just seems like that butyl rubber. I have to look into that again, like I said. That makes it really easy. I think if I had to, I could do this a different way by maybe doing that pin swinging it forward, undoing other parts, so this would all have a little bit more slack, and then kind of like the other instructions, it said like access these screws from under, keep the mirror together, but you know, maybe have a little bit more breathing room to do it. Not sure. The bezels on the Julia, on the driver one looks pretty good. The passenger one's kind of crumbly like these, and the glass seems a bit loose too. It seems like people just have the glass fall off randomly quite often. So, yeah, in terms of swapping over, if I want to have the heated mirrors, on Julia it's both driver and passenger side. I need to change this piece, this like whole, like I'd probably just do the whole motor assembly because it's this